Hey, 10-minute daily reality check, Tuesday, August 8th, 2017. Today we're going to talk about liars versus people who sometimes lie. But before I go into that, I need to, maybe talk about a bigger lie. There's a big lie going on right now. The NFL season is coming upon us, and you see the New York Jets, my favorite team in the whole wide world. It's the only sport I follow. I bleed green and white. Well, at least I used to. Till I realized what an idiot I must be bleeding green and white when if you bleed red and white or red and blue, the Patriots, you tend to win Super Bowls. The Jets' number one receiver, who is the number 3 receiver, Quincy Enunwa, seemed to have a bulging disc in his neck. Kind of sort of happened in practice the other day, and he kind of sort of was put in the IR, so he kind of sort of won't be playing this year, which means the Jets are throwing out a bunch of receivers that, nobody's ever heard of. You see, upper management tells the fans that they're not tanking the season at all, yet the illustrious Josh McCown is playing quarterback. Josh McCown, who's won 2 out of his last 24 starts. For those of you who don't know, that's a 2-win and 22-loss record. Not exactly something that is good. Now, are the Jets brass, Mr. Mike, the GM, and the coach Todd Bowles, and Woody Johnson, the esteemed owner, are they lying to the fans? Are they telling the fans the truth? Or, deep down within the organization, they knew that if they put a bunch of crap on the field this year, they can literally suck for Darnold, or whatever his name is, the USC quarterback, and get the number 1 pick in the draft next year and finally have a franchise quarterback, something they've never ever had. For those of you who remember Joe Namath, look at Joe Namath's stats. Go ahead and look at it. He threw 60 more interceptions than touchdowns. He was a piece of shit average quarterback that basically predicted that they would win the Super Bowl, and that's the only reason why he's in the Hall of Fame. Otherwise, he sucked. So is the organization lying to the fans, and are the fans believing the lies? Or are the fans looking at the Jets and thinking, you're a bunch of liars? Because you see, when it comes down to lying, there's the sometimes liar. You know, the kid that goes to school that doesn't want to play with little Joey, tells little Joey that he's got something he's got to do with his mom after school, when in turn he's really going to play with little Johnny. Is that a lie? Well, that's a sometimes lie. That's one of those lies that people do in order to protect somebody else. It's kind of what we call the little white lie or fibbing. What about if you don't really, want to go to a business meeting, so you just kind of, make the excuse that you have to have your kid that night? That's a sometimes lie. That's not really a real lie. You just don't want to go meet somebody that night. But there are a lot of people out there who chronically lie, like the New York Jets organization. Do they really believe that they are going to actually not suck this season? I can't see the Jets scoring more than 10 points in a game against any of the teams that they're playing. As a matter of fact, I think they're going to go 0-16. You've got my prediction here right now. The New York Jets are going to go 0-16. They're going to lose every single game, and they are going to get the number 1 pick in the draft. They're going to be so bad that literally they're going to be full of injuries as well, because when you start sucking that bad, everybody doesn't want to go and play, so people are kind of playing half-ass, which in turn on the football field, when you play any type of sport, if you play half-ass, you get your head handed to you, and you get hurt. So they're going to be an injury-filled, 0-16, terrible, terrible team. And we'll hear the lies and the excuses all year. But that leads us to the people who really lie. I know somebody in my life who is an unbelievable liar. I can't believe a word that comes out of their mouth at all. As a matter of fact, whatever they say comes out of their mouth, I think to myself, it must be Aesop's fables. Because I don't believe a word that they say. Because once I catch somebody in a lie, I think to myself, let me see what I can do again. Let me see if I can catch him again. And then if I catch him again in a lie, then I think to myself, whoa, wait a second. I'm going to give him one more benefit of the doubt. The 3-strike rule and you're out. 3 strikes. We got a baseball analogy and a football analogy today. So 3 strikes and you're out. Once I catch somebody in a lie 3 times, they're done with me. I am done. I live my truth. It's authentic. It's real. I fuck up. I do something wrong. I do something wrong, but I'm not going to lie. Yeah, maybe sometimes, okay, I might use my kid as an excuse to not go meet somebody. But that's okay. Because when it comes down to, being a real, authentic human being and being truthful and owning my stuff, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to create stories based out of facts, based out of false facts, based out of emotions. I'm not going to try to cheat somebody out of money. I'm not going to try to cause stress for another human being, because that's what lies do. When someone consistently tells lies to somebody over and over again, and the person who used to believe you stops believing you, you start causing stress in another person, because they can no longer trust a thing that comes out of your mouth at all. A liar just doesn't become a liar overnight. All of a sudden you're in a relationship with somebody and all of a sudden they start telling lies, right? Well, no, you just finally started catching them in the lies. You see, they just didn't become a liar. All of a sudden, the first 2 years of the relationship, everything was fucking great. And then all of a sudden, one day they woke up and they said, hey, look, wow, it's time that I started lying to this person. Yeah, that's right. I just made a decision right now that it's time that I start lying to this human being. So today is the day that I'm going to start to become the asshole that I always was, and I'm going to start lying to this person. No. If you're in a relationship with a liar, they've been lying the whole time. You just haven't caught them until it was too late, or you didn't catch them until your eyes were wide open, or you didn't catch them till you started seeing holes in their stories. Liars are liars. Liars usually have borderline personality disorders like narcissism. Go back to the podcasts we did a week ago about narcissistic behavior. But liars are liars. Once a liar, always a liar. Once a cheater, always a cheater. And once someone lies to you about one thing, you sure as hell know that almost every other thing they've told you has got to have some form of lie. And that's where it starts to get scary. Because that's when you start to think to yourself, wow, if they lied about this, what else could they be lying about? And once someone lies to you, the whole relationship comes crumbling down, because whatever they said on every other topic or every other decision that you've ever made, you start to think to yourself, wait a second, time out. Time out. I think you might have lied on other things as well. And if you happen to share children with a liar, you think to yourself, well, great. This liar is now running my children's life and teaching my child how to lie and make up things for their own good. Another thing about liars, that liars always got to remember what they said. They've got to take inventory, and they literally have to write down every single thing they said, because they can't remember it all, because lies are based on emotions that they feel in the moment, and lies are based on stories that they've created based on emotions that they are actually feeling and not the actual stories that are actually going down. So liars consistently have to remember things. The beauty of not lying is that everything remains consistent in your life day in and day out. I know by living my authentic truth every single day, I don't have to remember anything, because everything that I'm saying and everything that I'm doing aligns with who I am as a person. I don't have to think about what I said to this person, or this story that I told this person, or this angle that I was working, or this place that I was at, or, literally have to tell somebody that I was with them when I wasn't really with them because I was with somebody else, so that way I don't get caught in a lie. When you lie, you get into trouble. When you lie, eventually the truth will find you. And when you lie, eventually everything that you've been covering and hiding up will be exposed. When a liar meets somebody who's totally authentic, it's all over for the liar. Because the authentic person is able to balance and see things from both sides of the table. An authentic person has something called empathy. You see, liars have no empathy at all. They could give a shit about what their actions are causing you. They don't care what their actions are doing to you at all. As a matter of fact, they have no empathy. They lack empathy. They can tell you they've got empathy, and they can tell you that they want to hear your side of things, but they really don't. Liars have their one way, their perspective, and they will constantly change stories to protect themselves. Liars rarely say sorry, and when they do say sorry, they always back it up with another lie. I'm so sorry. I really am. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I'll never do it again. And then they defend it. But I had to do it because I was put into this position. But I had to go and do this. But I had to go and do that. Beware of liars that are in your life. Stop giving liars that long leash. and start reeling them all in. Because buyers are liars, and people who are selling are constantly lying. They want you to buy their story so they can control you. Liars are the most scared, fearful people you can ever imagine and ever be around. So if you've got a liar in your life, I want you to realize, okay, it's enough of giving that liar another chance. There's no other chance to be given a liar. Once a liar is caught lying to you about one thing, and I'm going to reiterate this, I sure as hell know that they are lying about other things as well. So I want you to spend the rest of the month of August eliminating liars from your life. Eliminate them all. Exorcise them, not exercise. Exorcise them. Get rid of them and realize they probably lied about almost everything else they've ever told you. Don't get angry. You can't get angry at them. They could give a fuck. They're not going to apologize. They're not going to have empathy. They're not going to see your way. They're not going to tell you. They'll tell you it was a one-time lie, but you know what? It's never a one-time lie, because somebody who lies about something that's super big and somebody that's out for their own good will lie and lie and lie until they keep lying, because they actually believe their lies. They've memorized their lies. They believe it. But for every lie they have, every story that they create, there's holes in every single story. You show me a liar and I can show you the fucking holes that are in their story left and right. Because they don't dot the I's and they don't cross the T's, and they leave way too much for chance. They leave a paper trail like a snail, and they basically are the lowest form of human beings out there. I don't want to see any of you get caught in a web of lies with anybody. No matter who it might be you're sharing the space with right now, no matter what it might be, I want you to eliminate any liars from your life, and that is today's reality check. We kabash. We get rid of the liars. We throw them down on the ground. We stomp them all around, and we say to ourselves, fucking A, we're living an authentic truth today. I will see you tomorrow for the reality check. We're going to have John Keegan back in the house. Next week, we're going to be in Montauk, Long Island. Special guests will be there. Good friend of mine, Brett Parker, will be on the show. My brother will be on the show. And there'll be other people on the show next week. We'll be doing it from the beach in Montauk as I go and create my next masterpiece, my new novel. I'll see you all tomorrow. Spread the love.